Hello, welcome to Make Kind Loud, conversations that turn up the volume. And today we are talking to Toni Gonzalez. Hey, Toni, how's it going?
I'm good. Thank you so much for having me here. I'm so
You,
honored.
you're welcome. Thank you for saying yes. I'm excited to
Welcome.
chat with you.
You too.
Well, let me tell the people about you.
All right.
Toni Gonzalez is currently a police sergeant in a small Jersey Shore town in New Jersey. She has been in law enforcement for 23 years. In those 23 years, she has worked in several different units, such as a detective in the Juvenile Bureau, sex crimes and child abuse unit, internal affairs, and currently in the patrol division. Toni is the first female sergeant in her police department and is proud of that. She worked hard to get it to earn her bachelor's degree in health and wellness and three classes away from earning her master's degree in the science of criminal justice. She currently talks about how stress affects first responders, and she presented research at the second Ashford University Symposium talking about how to de-stress for first responders. She's writing a book, and you can also find her talking to first responders on Facebook at Mindfulness for First Responders Wellness for You on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Anchor Podcast, and she has a weekly Alexa flash briefing. She's passionate about speaking about ways to relieve stress and hopes that someday this is something that is taught in every police academy, in every in service, and that each first responder has a way to relieve their stress. Welcome, Toni. That is
Thank you.
amazing.
Thank you so much. I'm like so pumped that the way you just introduced me. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. So you've been in law enforcement for 23 years. Talk about that. Thank you for, first of all, thank you
Oh, you're
for your
welcome.
service. And tell us how the last 23 years have been for you.
So I just want to say that I'm super honored to actually be in this profession now. I actually fell into it. And I'll tell you a quick story. My one brother retired from the Army after almost 27 years. And he came home to visit and he signed up for a civil service test in my town that I grew up in. I grew up in Long Branch. And he left and he wound up making a career out of his thing, out of the Army. I got his civil service uh, application. And back in the day, it came in the mail. So you would
Uh-huh.
fill it out. It was $5, right? So I look at it and I'm like, I need a job. I didn't wake up one day and my whole life, I wasn't like, I want to be a police officer.
Right,
I was in the Army. I wanted to be a doctor and just things didn't work out that way, money and, life gets in the way and
right,
things
right.
happen. Right. So anyway, I fill this out and I send it out and I wind up taking the test and I did very well on it. And I wound up getting hired. That's how it all started. Now, as I started in this profession, I really saw that it was something that I liked doing. It wasn't always easy, okay, and it hasn't always been easy, but it was something that I enjoyed, and I found that I was natural. And there's good and bad days and everything.
Yeah.
Um, you can't let the bad days cloud the good days. You know what I mean? And from this experience, I've learned that there's things that we need. And I thank my experiences, the things I've gone through, because they've led me to where I am today, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. That's amazing. I
Thank
love
you.
that story. I love so your brother filled out the paperwork and then he left and you were like, well, let me just try
I
this.
did. It's like, I was like, it was a basic skills test and I was like pretty good in school. And I was like, yeah, I could do this. And I was like, I could do this. And then the whammy was, I thought I was going to go to a local police academy and I had a 3-year-old son. I was married at the time. I'm not married anymore. But anyway, I had a 3-year-old son. And I was like, did they just change what we're going to the academy? I was like, wow. So I wound up going to the State Police Academy, the New Jersey State Police Academy, and it was a municipal class. And I was there for 4 months. And I was like, I just left basic training. I just left the Army. And I'm like, oh, but whatever.
That is hilarious. But I mean, 23 years later, and here you are,
Yes, yes. And I'm,
police, a
yeah,
sergeant doing things,
yes, yes.
breaking down barriers.
Yes, that's a big one. Listen, a lot of people they don't think. A lot of people's mindset is, well, I don't know if I could do that.
Yeah,
I don't know if I can I don't know if I can try it. My advice to everyone out here is try it. You know what? Give it a chance. Because you never know. Like a lot of people are like, "Oh, I never thought you would have done that kind of job or that you would have gone in the army." You know what? Neither did I. I didn't think I could do it, but you know what? I set my mind to do it
yeah,
and I did it. And here I am. And I have to say, you have to push yourself and you have to believe in yourself. You really do. And it's not easy all the time, but whatever, you know.
yeah, yeah. But you keep pushing through though.
Yes, yes, 100%.
Not only for you, but you also had a son
Yes.
that who saw you do all of these things over the course of the last 20 years, and how you push yourself and how you help other people as well.
Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, he's in the Navy. My son's in the Navy. So I'm proud of him. You don't think that they're listening, but they are,
Yeah,
and he's difficult, but I love him with all my heart.
yeah, and
And
that's awesome.
thank
I'm
you.
sure that he went to the Navy because he saw you do amazing things, and he was like, you know what, I can do this. I can serve as well.
Thank you. Thank you. I can't take total credit. He does have a dad and, he was there too. And he was also in the army and he was a police officer. So I know I know my son thinks I'm like the toughest. He goes, Mom, you're tough and you could be mean. But I have to give his father credit as well, because he also was in his life.
I
So
love that. I
thank
love
you.
that. So what have you learned from being a police officer over the last 23 years?
Well, wow, that's a good question. I've learned a lot of things. So I've learned that you have to really like yourself sometimes and you have to have thick skin. And by that I mean you cannot take things personally. You really can't. And if you do, you're going to have a really bad day or a lot of bad days.
Yeah,
I've learned that there's a lot of different personalities out here. I've learned that there's a lot of people that love us and there's a lot of people that hate us. But I've come to terms with the fact that out here, we all are entitled to our opinions and we're all
yeah.
entitled to feel a certain way. We can't take away from one group and then say, oh yeah, you guys, everyone's opinion matters. It really does. I've learned a lot about myself. I wasn't always like this. Okay. I wasn't always this like, in tune. But what I've learned is that my inner strength is what pushes me through everything and understanding others. Because that was very, very difficult for me as I came into this job. Listen, you're going into a male dominated job. Okay.
Right, right.
You're going to, there was only a couple females, and I'm not trying to separate us. I'm not, because I love men. We need them in our lives. You know what I mean? I have nothing negative to say, but coming into this, it was not easy, and
Yeah.
I was like, holy moly, I don't know. And, you are expected to do this job 100%. And I'm proud of that because you know what? I proved myself. I was there. I did it, and I continue to do it. So yeah, I've learned a lot. I've learned that I'm stronger than I even imagined.
I love that. I
Thank
love
you.
that. So talk about the de-stressing, because I'm sure it's an extremely stressful job, and you guys deal with things that I can't even imagine. So how do you handle the stress?
Well, that wasn't always easy. That's what led me to my passion.
Yeah,
So I have been involved in a lot of scenarios, a lot of cases, a lot of things that you don't think are going to affect you. And if I could just tell you that every time when you first start out in this job, you really feel like nothing can penetrate you. Like
right,
you can actually go to any call, you can go home, go to sleep, blah, blah, blah. But then what happens is it builds up and it builds up and it builds up. And then there's those moments that you can't fall asleep right away. Either you went to a shooting or you went to a death or
yeah,
whatever, a homicide. And then you find yourself not being able to fall asleep. And that's what led me here. I had my own experiences and they started building up. and they started building up and they started overwhelming me. And then I found myself being really angry, and I felt like I just didn't want to be around other people. And then it just became too much, right? And listen, I don't knock therapy at all, because I went to therapy, and I strongly urge people out here that if you need to talk to somebody, do it. That's what your insurance pays for. No one can tell them your business, okay? It's your insurance, it's your stuff. So anyway, I go to therapy and I get over whatever that trauma that happened, right? Then other things started happening. I went through a divorce. Then I had a sick parent, and then my son leaves. I get, all these things start happening, and they start building up, and I don't realize how they're affecting me. And I wind up going to a call that really changed my life, and it changed the way I see things. And I started talking about stress. And that call was something that I really didn't do everything perfectly. And it was one of those things where I froze. And then the stress, I realized that the stress was doing something to me, because it was overwhelming, right? And then other people's things started coming in. And that's, like I said, led me to the relieving stress. It is important to relieve stress daily, because what happens is it builds up and builds up. As a first responder, as a police officer, or anybody that's out here, you're responding to calls nonstop, day in, day out. Some days you're seeing more than other days. So there could be totally quiet days, and then you go and then you have a terrible week where you're seeing death after death, bad situation after bad situation. Our minds are not meant to see those things. And what happens is PTSD sets in, right? And all these other things set in, and you're not releasing it. And that's why I started talking about relieving stress daily, because after that last incident, I started practicing yoga, and I'm not really good at it, but I started researching breathing and meditation. And I found that there is a lot of relief in breathing, and breathing can totally relax you with just 3 breaths. And 3 breaths can help you reset and refocus and look at a situation totally differently, right? So that's everything I do. Like, I know I do talk a lot, that, but
no, you're great.
We met in person.
I love it.
Thank you.
No, that is beautiful. So the 3 breaths, and literally just taking self-evaluation and figuring out, like, there's other stuff happening with you, and then taking action to help yourself so that you can be a better person in your job, right? To be fully present in your job, and to be aware of what's going on. So that's huge that you recognize that. I love that.
Thank you. So my passion is to show first responders that these things don't cost anything. You can actually do this in your police car, in your ambulance, and if you're a nurse or doctor, you can do them anywhere. You can actually sit and take a deep breath and relax your entire body within seconds, and nobody knows anything. Because I say that all the time, because a lot of times as first responders, we don't want people to know that we're meant to be these strong people. We're supposed to rescue everybody and we don't want people to know that we're having a moment. So when I say that, I just want to reassure you, or the person, that you can do it anywhere, and no one needs to know that what you're doing.
Yeah. And just for you, so that you can have your sanity in the situation. Yeah, that's huge. So you're currently helping other first responders with this.
Yes.
What kind of response have you gotten from them?
Well, I just want to back up a little bit. I created a page. It's Wellness for You, and it's a business page. It's public. And I started talking about stress and de-stressing. The first initial responses were like, oh, that's funny that you're on video, blah, blah, blah. And then people were coming up to me and saying, I practiced that. And that there's another breathing technique that you can do. And people started telling me, oh, those oils, I like them. Can I try them? And I did get a good response, and I'm getting a good response, and I'm getting more people talking about different ways to handle stress. So in that in that I'm very happy about. Like, you
Yeah.
know, because I talk about other things at Mindfulness for First Responders. It's a private group, and slowly but surely people are coming in and they thank me or they send me a message and they say, I really appreciate what you talked about today, and thank you for talking about this. So I feel like even if it's one person,
Yeah.
that makes me super happy that one person, if one person tries something that I talk about, like blowing bubbles, it's a good way to do a breathing technique, then I'm like, hey, you know what? I hit the jackpot.
Right. And I talk about this all the time. Like, people think that making an impact or changing the world is this huge, daunting task, when in reality, it is one person at a time.
Yes.
Like, if you can make an impact on one person, then that is how you change the world, because that person will go out and have an influence on someone else, and then they will have an influence on someone else, and then you have this snowball effect
Yeah.
where people are putting out goodness and positivity to the world. And that's exactly what you are doing in regards to first responders, is helping them with their stress, and then also giving them a place to come and be like, I need you guys today, giving them a community to come in and feel safe there.
Yeah. Thank you so much. You just like wrapped it up for me, because that's really what I wanted. What I wanted was for people, you know, it's not easy coming out here and
Yeah.
being on social media and telling people, yeah, you know, I was stressed out yesterday and this is
Right.
what I did. But I really wanted people to know that this is something that we all deal with, and that we all can do it. We can all relieve it. We don't have to do it alone. And that is really, really, really what led me to that, my own experience. And then saying, hey, you know what? This worked for me. It can work for you, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, that's brilliant. That is beautiful. So
Thank you.
what made you decide to take it to social media, to put yourself out there? What was the catalyst that said, I'm going to do this, and then if people watch, great. If they don't, oh well. Like, what made you to make that decision?
So, you know, April from Light
Yeah.
Beamers, right? So I'd done an interview with her, and the way that I started coming out here was teaching Spanish to law enforcement online, right? I taught live classes, but then I started doing it online. So April did an interview, and she started talking to me about, you know, what I was doing and stuff like that. But in that, she must have seen that I was talking about relieving stress and all this stuff. She's like, you have to go out there and talk about it on video. And I'm like, I can't do that. I said, I'm a police officer. We don't do that. I said,
Right.
we don't talk about these things. And you know what? I said, it's dangerous, right? And it was like really a cop out, really, because what's, you know, really, come on. So
Yeah.
that's what she was the one that was like, kept on saying to me, okay, try this, try that. So I took her program. I started her program, 21 days, 21 ways. And I learned how to talk on video and how to do this stuff. And then I was like, one day I got up and I was like, you know what? Enough of this hiding, because really that's what I was doing. I said, enough of this hiding. There's somebody out here that probably wants to hear what I have to say. And like I said, I just took a chance and I did it. I want to tell you how uncomfortable it was. I was super, super nervous. And I was like walking down the halls at work. I was like, I hope nobody saw that. But I did. I was like, you know what? Nothing changes if we all stay quiet, right?
Right.
If we all stay in our comfort zones and we just say, oh, you know what? I'll wait for someone else to do it. Or maybe I'm not going to do it. Or maybe nobody will do it. Nothing's going to change. We have to be the change. We have to be the people that come out here and make a difference in people's lives.
So true. Nothing changes if nothing changes.
That's right.
If we're all at the status quo and doing our own thing, and we don't take that chance, then you're absolutely correct. Nothing's going to change. Nothing's going to change. So that is amazing that you took that leap. Even though you were nervous about it, you still took that leap.
Yes, very nervous. I was like, oh man, this is gonna, you know that feeling of putting yourself out there. Video is, listen, it's forever. Live.
You're right.
No, public, pages, those are scary. There's people that either like you or don't like you. It doesn't,
Yeah.
you cannot let any of that stop you from doing what your passion is. Whatever's burning in your heart, you cannot let that stop you. You have to continue pushing and doing it, and just saying what you feel and how you want to change the world. You just got to keep on doing it.
I love that. And you're writing a book. So tell me about the book. What's it about?
Oh yeah.
When can we get it?
Oh yeah. So I'm working on this book. It's when you have writer's block because you're like avoiding stuff.
Yeah.
So I was writing this book for a couple years, and I'm finally getting somewhere. So the book is about my life, and there's a lot. It's going to be fiction and nonfiction because I have to add a story in there. You want to add some stories and stuff like that. So it is going to be about pushing forward and not letting obstacles stop you, basically. And I don't know the title yet. I'm still writing. I'm 20,000 words in,
Wow, that's amazing.
Thank you. It's basically things that people will probably never even realize that I went through.
Wow.
Or that my life was like. So sometimes you have to step out of your comfort zone and get out there. It's going to be a little bit about my life, and it's going to be a little bit about police work and my own military stuff. And it's not negative. Okay. It really is about the power of the human spirit.
I love that.
The power of the human spirit. And like I said, I don't know the title yet. It'll be done soon because I am actually working with a team of people. And like I said, they're going to be, you never know where things are going to go, right? You never know.
Yeah. Well, that's beautiful. The power of the human spirit sounds like a pretty good title to me.
Thank you. It is a good one, right?
Put that in the mix.
Sometimes
put that in the hat. Yeah.
I know, right? I was like, shake it up. And then like.
Exactly. Well, that is beautiful. And it sounds like it's going to be a very personal book and a very vulnerable of some of the stories that you're going to share in it, right?
Yeah. Sometimes you got to do it, right? So I texted my brother, who's like my best friend, and I'm like, listen, I said, I'm going to dedicate this book to you. I said, but it's going to be real honest. He goes, well, you got to do what you got to do. We're very funny, by the way. He's very funny. He goes, the truth is the truth.
Wow.
He goes, the truth is the truth. I was like, all right. I said, okay. I said, just letting you know.
That is awesome. And I love that you have that kind of relationship with your brother. That's amazing.
Thank you. Yeah. Family's everything, really. If you think about
it. When it all comes down to it, correct. Yeah. Whoever even like your chosen family, whoever you decide is your family, those are the people who really matter.
Exactly.
I love that. So do you want to, what kind of tips or techniques can you offer the people about de-stressing?
Oh, I have a couple techniques. I love that you're asking. All right. So if you have bubbles in your house, you can use these as a great stress reliever. So you wonder how, when they create things for children, why we can't have these as adults, right? So I got 3 bottles at the dollar store. And what you do is you use them to meditate, right? And I know a lot of people laugh because sometimes the bubbles don't come out when I'm online, but it's whatever. You still see me breathing, right? You see my lips. I'm like, but you take this and you know how people say they can't meditate?
Yeah.
And they can't focus. Well, the way that I use the bubbles is by showing you that you can meditate and that you can focus. So you take the bubbles and you also are getting the benefit of breathing, right? So I focused for a few seconds to just blow a bubble, but I also was using my breath.
Wow, right? That's beautiful.
Thank you. This is one of my favorite ones. And I do this. I talk about this all the time. I'm like, if you don't want to do anything else, grab some bubbles and use them to help you not only relax, but to breathe. But it's fun. It's a lot of fun to do it. And there's nothing that says that we can't have fun in life. Even if we're 49 years old, 59 years old, 69 years old, doesn't matter. You can still have fun. The other tip that I use is I love aromatherapy. I love essential oils. And when I was having a hard time falling asleep after a midnight tour,
Hmm.
I spoke to somebody and they told me to use lavender essential oils. And I have to tell you that there's a lot of resources out here that you can use. You can use diffusers that you can plug into your computer, and you can also plug them into your car. They're USB, or even like the old lighter method, you stick it in there. What you do is you want to relax and you want to take that with you. So in a police car, I'm not only talking to police officers, I'm talking to anyone out here who wants to relieve their stress. You're in a police car, you're in an ambulance, whatever, and you just want to relax, or you just want to have that mood, right? You put a couple drops in that diffuser and you pump it in, you plug it in or put it into the USB port and let that diffuse in your vehicle. There is a lot of research on that. There's a lot of research that says that these things can help you relax, and why not take them with you? So I
Right.
call them my toolbox. And the other thing that I am big on is the breathing technique. Sorry about that. So the breathing technique. So we could do it all together right now if you want. And
Yes, let's do it.
it'd be very cool. So you take 3 deep breaths, and I'm going to show you, there's a mindfulness to go cards that you can buy anywhere.
Okay.
You can order them. And here they show you different relaxation techniques. And one of them is the 3 deep breaths. So wherever you are, just relax your entire body. You can put your hands on your lap if you want, or just put them on the side. And I just want you to pay attention to your breath, just how you're breathing. Just pay attention to your breath. And then when you're ready, take a deep breath in through your nose, and then you're going to exhale it out. So when you're breathing, exhale it out, right? So you know how when a baby is breathing and their stomach is going in and out? That
Yeah.
is the breath, okay? That is the breath that I'm talking about. So you, right? So if your shoulders are up here and you're tense, taking those deep breaths are going to relax your shoulders, and you take one more breath and exhale it out, and you automatically you feel like this sense of relaxation coming over you. But not only that, when you're taking deep breaths, okay, as first responders, when you take deep breaths, you're relaxing your entire body. When you get stressed out, you're taking shallow breaths. And when you're not taking full breaths, you're not thinking straight, right? You're not getting, your brain is not getting the oxygen it needs, your body's not getting the oxygen it needs. So stopping and realizing that those 3 deep breaths can reset you is life changing. I love it. It works for me. It worked so well for me that I started talking about it.
I love that. I
Thank
love that.
you.
Yeah, and I do feel better. So thank you for that. That
You're
was
welcome.
amazing. Yay! That was beautiful. Thank you for coming on and talking
Thank
about
you.
all the things. I learned a lot, and I appreciate your spirit and your energy, and just everything that you're doing in the world for for humanity.
Thank you. I want to thank you for allowing me to come here and talk about this, and to actually be interested in what I had to say. It means so much to me that this is being heard around the world and that could change lives. So I really appreciate you, Louisa. You are the kindness queen. I always think of you. When I see kindness, your name pops in everywhere,
Oh,
like
thank
in my
you.
heart. You're
Thank
welcome.
you. I appreciate that. Well, this has been Make Kind Loud, conversations that turn up the volume. And today we had the honor to speak with Toni Gonzalez, who has been in law enforcement for over 20 years, who is helping first responders manage their stress and also just putting out good energy in the world. She says that we are stronger than we think. We just have to take action. So, Toni, we appreciate you for that. Thank you once again.
Oh, you're very welcome. Thank you so much.
And we'll see you guys next week on another episode of Make Kind Loud, conversations that turn up the volume. Bye bye.
Bye bye. Thank you so much.